As you know, October is the feast of the Holy Rosary. This morning, I wish to speak about the Rosary. The Rosary is Mary's prayer. The Rosary is also the prayer of the Sisters of Mary's, Boys Town and Girls Town. What do I mean when I say the Rosary is the prayer of the Sisters of Mary's, Boys Town and Girls Town? What I mean is this. From the very beginning of the Sisters of Mary and of our Boys Town and Girls Town work, we have been devoted to the Rosary. The sisters and the children have said the Rosary fervently, frequently. They have said the Rosary with faith and love. And because of our devotion to the Rosary, Mary has blessed us. Through the Rosary, we have obtained many graces and gifts and fruits. And by our devotion to the Rosary, this work has grown. It has flourished. It has borne abundant fruit. And I am convinced only if we remain faithful to the devotion to the Rosary will Mary continue to bless us and give us an abundance of grace and gifts as a community and as individuals. At the Last Supper, Jesus said to his disciples, "As I have loved you, you too must love each other. And if you love each other, by this will all men know that you are my disciples. By brotherly love, by your love for each other, you show the world that you are disciples of Jesus. You are followers of Jesus. You belong to Jesus. By your devotion to the Rosary, by reciting this prayer every day with faith and love, you prove that you are truly a child of the Sisters of Mary. This is your testimony that you are a member of this Boys Town and Girls Town family. To truly become a member of this Boys Town and Girls Town community, a child of the Sisters of Mary, a part of our family, it is not enough simply to come here, live here, study, play. It is not enough to wear a shirt marked with the Sisters of Mary. You say the Rosary, our prayer, every day, with faith, with love, and devotion. And people will see your devotion to the Rosary. They will see your fervor, your faith, your love of this prayer, and they will say, this is truly a child of the Sisters of Mary. This child is truly a member of the Boys Town and Girls Town family. And as long as you remain faithful to this little prayer, you will be happy here. You will be satisfied. You will be fulfilled. You will grow and develop. And after you leave, if you remain faithful to this prayer, you will remain faithful to the principles and values of the Sisters of Mary and our Boys Town and Girls Town. If you neglect this prayer, if you say it without any attention or faith or love, you will be staying here, but you will not be a member of the family in your heart. You will not be truly satisfied. You will not grow and develop. And when you leave, if you neglect this prayer, you will also leave our principles and values behind. You will not be faithful to what you are taught here. This prayer is a very simple, humble, lowly prayer. It resembles Mary of Nazareth. When God chose her to be his mother, she was so simple and humble and lowly, just a little girl, 15, 16, same age as many of you, not much older. And God chose her because of her humility and lowliness and simplicity, and he did great things to her. And this rosary resembles Mary of Nazareth. You look at it as just like a child's toy. It looks like nothing, so lowly, simple. But there is great power in this prayer, and if you say it with devotion, God and Mary will do great things to you and through you. The rosary existed from the earliest years in the history of the church, but it was St. Dominic who was chosen to foster this devotion. In the 13th century, Dominic, as a young priest, went to France and tried to convert the heretics, the Albigensians, but they were very stubborn and hard-headed, and they would not convert. They are like many of our fundamentalists and born-agains and Ecclesia Ni Cristo members. They're very hard-headed and stubborn. So St. Dominic was very discouraged by his lack of success. And one night he was praying, and in his prayer, Mary appeared to him with the rosary, and she encouraged him to foster this devotion. Dominic went to the cathedral and rang the bell. He assembled all the people of this city, and he preached for the first time about the rosary. In the congregation were some heretics. They listened to his words, and they scoffed and mocked him. They said, "This is silly. This is a child's prayer." And they left the cathedral in disgust. And immediately a great storm arose, and there was thunder and lightning. And these heretics were frightened, and they ran back into the cathedral for safety. And they listened to the rest of the sermon. Their hearts were touched, and they were converted. They came back to the true church. And St. Dominic, as a result of his devotion to the rosary, converted more than 100,000 heretics before his death. So there is great power in this little prayer. A little later, in the 13th century, the Muslims, the Arabs, were very powerful. They assembled a great fleet of ships, and they massed many troops, and they were going to attack and conquer Christian Europe. And if they succeeded, Europe would become Muslim. You would not be here today, you would be Muslims. So it was a moment of great danger. And the leader of the Christian fleet and soldiers was a man named John, Admiral John, and he had great devotion to Mary and the rosary. He had few soldiers, few sailors, few ships. He was greatly outnumbered. But he had his sailors pray the rosary, and he put the rosary on the mast of his ship, and he went to do battle under the sign of the rosary. It looked hopeless. He was so vastly and greatly outnumbered. But he obtained a great victory. He defeated the Muslims. It was a miracle. And he obtained this great victory through the rosary. So there is power in this little prayer. At the Last Supper, Jesus said to his disciples, "I will not leave you alone, orphans. I will be with you all days, even until the end of the world." And Jesus is with us, his disciples, through the Eucharist. We receive Jesus in our hearts through communion. We go to him through adoration of the Eucharist. And through the Eucharist, Jesus becomes our friend. It's something very precious in life to have a true friend. But Jesus knows that it is not enough simply to have a friend who is very close and intimate, who understands you, who is always with you. There is still something lacking. What is that? We need a mother. We need a mother. There is nothing so tender and sweet as a mother's love. And Jesus knows this. And so on Calvary, he fills up this lack. And he gives to us Mary as mother. He looks at John, he looks at us, at you, at me, and he says, my child, this is your mother. And to Mary, this is your child, your daughter, your son. And it is written in the Gospel that John took Mary to his house. We take Mary to our hearts. She becomes our mother, our friend by the Rosary. This is how you make a friend of Mary. You make a friend of Jesus through the Eucharist. You make a friend of Mary by saying the Rosary with faith and devotion. If you see one of your classmates whom you like and you want to make a friend of this classmate, you must actively work at this. It is not enough simply to sit still. You seek out this person whom you wish to make a friend. You spend time with this person. You converse. You exchange what is in your heart. You speak to this person with love and affection. The same way with Jesus and Mary. You want to make a friend of Jesus, you go to him in the Eucharist. You spend time with him. You express and exchange all that is in your heart. He becomes your friend, you become his friend. And through the Rosary, you do the same with Mary. You come to Mary. You spend time with her. You speak to her heart. She speaks to your heart. She becomes your friend, your mother. Rosary is loving conversation between friends. Heart speaks to heart. Through the Rosary, you speak to the heart of Mary. She speaks to your heart. What do you say? You say simply, Mary, I love you. Mary, I wish to be yours. I wish to be your child, your friend, your servant. Mary looks at you with love, and what does she say? My child, I love you. I wish to be your mother, your friend, your protector. So this is the meaning of the Rosary, this loving exchange. Heart speaks to heart, and Mary becomes your friend, your mother, and she is with you. At Bonheur, in Belgium, Mary appeared to the little child, Marietta Beckel, and she said, I come to relieve suffering. I come to relieve suffering. Mary comes. She comes each moment, each time we say the Rosary with faith, with love. She comes and relieves our suffering. She comforts us. She renews our strength. She gives us courage. But it is not enough simply to say the Rosary, to pray. You must also sacrifice. Prayer without sacrifice is like flesh without blood. Your body without blood is weak, lifeless. It is dead. Prayer without sacrifice is lifeless. It is dead. So you say the Rosary with faith and love, and you must also offer sacrifice to Mary with the Rosary. What sacrifice? The best sacrifice is the sacrifice of obedience. This is most pleasing to Mary, to God. And the sacrifice of obedience means simply doing your duty doing your duty according to your state in life. And your duty as a student is to study. So simple. Study for Mary. Study for Jesus. Each day, if you study with all your strength and enthusiasm, there is a great area for sacrifice. You're tired. You don't feel like studying. You're lazy. But you overcome this. I will sacrifice for Mary. In the classroom, you are distracted. You practice custody of the eyes. You listen. You concentrate. You get rid of distractions. You constantly make an effort all day, every day. This is your duty. And this is the best sacrifice, the one most pleasing to Mary. Imagine a mother with 2 children. One child comes to the mother and says, "Oh, Mama, I love you." And the child weeps and cries and embraces the mother. But the child does not go to school. The child does not study. The child is lazy. And the mother is dissatisfied. The child says, "I love you, Mama." But the other child says nothing, but the other child studies, goes to school, works hard to learn. And this second child truly loves the mother, truly pleases the mother. What does a mother want? She wants a child to grow, to develop, to advance, to learn. And so does your mother, Mary. More than any other sacrifice, more than your words, she wants this sacrifice of obedience, the sacrifice to study with all your energy. Don't waste your time. Concentrate your thoughts. Overcome your laziness, your sleeplessness, your tiredness, and to study for Mary, for Jesus, with this intention. So there it is. Very simple. This is a simple formula for holiness, for perfection, to grow in the spiritual life. You pray, especially the Rosary, every day, with faith, with love, not mechanically, not as a form of superstition, with faith, with love, with devotion. And you sacrifice. You offer your study to Mary, to Jesus. And if you do this, pray the Rosary, study for Jesus and Mary, you will advance in the spiritual life. Each day you will become holier and holier and more perfect. And Mary will continue to bless you and to give you every spiritual gift and every grace. So in conclusion, you believe in Mary, you believe in her prayer of the Rosary. If you love Mary, you love her prayer of the Rosary. And every day you say this prayer with faith and love, and at the same time, with great energy, you study and you offer this sacrifice of obedience.